Hey people, gonna review this book, comic book rather. So hopefully this is gonna be a short review. This is issues of 1 to 15 of Rick and Morty, the comic book. I got the special compendium. You can get singular issues, but this is like way more cheap, and I think I paid about over £30 for it. Would I say it was worth £30? Comic books are actually incredibly expensive. Even like these ones, not even the old ones. And I would say it's, for a comic book, maybe it was, it's worth it if you really like the TV show. I do want to say that I enjoyed it less than the TV show. Even the newest seasons, I haven't seen the current season. I think it's season 8, right? Or 7? I don't know. It's not on Netflix, and I didn't bother getting the subscription to whatever it's on. I don't remember right now, but yeah, it's okay. Would I say it's the best comic book I've read? No, I wouldn't say so. But I have not read that many, to be honest. I've read some online through the Marvel subscription. I think, yeah, I think that was it. And I read some Wolverine comics on that. Well, mostly just one. And kind of middled out about it, and then I lost interest in it, forgot about it, paid a bit of subscription fees for no reason, and then I cancelled it. Oh yeah, right. I've read the Savage Sword of Conan. I'm gonna finish it soon. I'll probably do the next review about that. I think that so far is the better one. It has better art style. The pacing of the comic book, for this at least, I think it's actually nicer paced than the start of the Conan, but it picks up as you go, so it really depends on your flavor of pacing. I do want to say that I do like some of the art styles in this, but most of the time it's like, oh yeah, the characters are way more expressive in the comic book, to be fair. So that's the advantage of having it the show in comic book form, is that you get way more expressive characters, but the action is very understated. It's mostly just stills of characters and mega heavy dialogue. And I think I'd prefer it to have less dialogue, to be fair. It just flows better. Even if the pacing is better than what I've read from other comic books, well, mostly Conan is very slow to start. But yeah, it's the dialogue is not the best, honestly. It squeezes in some cheeky references. Maybe there's like a side character that's introduced in one issue, never shows up again. Very episodic, and none of the stories are really connected except for the ones that are like multi-issue ones. There's like a issue that is 4 issues long, so that kind of gets you into some kind of story, and it's right at the start basically, which is why I think maybe I got a better first impression towards this comic. But is it worth £8? Not really. I think if I could have gotten it used and for way less, I would have enjoyed that. But I do love a bargain anyway, so if I can get a bargain, I will get a bargain if possible. I don't really mind if it's a used instead of a new one, comic book that is, or any book for that matter. I don't think it really adds any value to have a freshly printed comic book or a musty comic book. What else? The stories aren't like insanely good. I think there are better sci-fi concepts in the show, and that's even up to season 7 that I've seen, than the comic book. The comic book is mostly a family conflict or stuff you've already probably seen from other shows. It's just like generic sci-fi stuff, mostly. It feels weird that there's like, it's weirdly off-panel. Like this This looks like I could draw this. It's not like high art or anything. If I thought I thought they would like for some of these they would at least make it a little prettier, but most of the characters are kind of ugly most of the time. And the expressions are they feel like off key. Even if they're more expressive, it's like it doesn't doesn't feel like the Rick and Morty you see in the show. It feels like more like a Rick and Morty that some some person that made a fanfic would portray. Like I could definitely see myself if I were to draw comic books again, which I used to for a little bit. I did uh, halfway finished one, and then I created a side story with that, and I never did actually finish fully drawing out the panels. I did like half of it, and I would have to say that some of them, some of them, some of the panels I did look on par with some of this, except for maybe I didn't really add colors or anything like that. I mostly did black and white with some sparse coloring, but basically the models very simple. If you want to see nice art, don't read this comic. Uh, there are like a few set pieces or a few nice scenes that are kind of neat. The shading is sometimes nice, but that depends on issue by issue. What else? There's a nice. They do switch it up sometimes and not even have the main cast, which is like I came here from Rick and Morty. Why would I want to like read this or you know it's not really reading, but you get what I mean. So yeah, they do a ball fondler special, which is funny. I know it's sort of a side piece of the show, but they spent the whole issue on it, which kind of they kind of did that in the some of the seasons with having Ice-T as a intergalactic symbol or whatever. But um, at least Rick and Morty show up sometimes in that. I think yeah, I think they show up like almost all of the time. So it's always kind of related to Rick and Morty in some way. But for the special, I don't think Rick and Morty show up at all. Oh no, they do for like the last panel, which is well okay. I mean, at least the art. I think they got away with this because the art style is way nicer, and it shows like it's. I think the artists themselves use their own art style instead of trying to emulate Rick and Morty. Show another panel if I'm allowed. Here you go, like this kind of thing. It's very, very different compared to normal Rick and Morty art and paneling in a better way. I was like, damn, when I started reading this part, I was like, damn, this is nice. But the story was whatever. It's just like this. If you've seen Rambo, you've seen you know where this little special goes. Okay, overall, am I gonna buy another one for the sequel? Well, yes, because actually, I have a problem where I have a budget for myself every week, and I kind of have run out of things to buy for myself. So to keep myself entertained a little bit, and to not just play games as a backlog, because I'm trying to not really play that many games because they're kind of a waste of time most of the time. And I did try to quit them, and I have quit them multiple times for years on end, maybe months on end or weeks on end. And I think like reading at least some kind of art that's not even high art, but whatever kind of art is mostly better than spending, I don't know, 5 hours on a Civ game, for example. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you can handle it, but I need to get my shit done. I need to be more productive as a person and get a better job. And to do that, I need to really study up on a certain field I want to do. So I just have to be very tough with myself. So I can't really just fuck around for the weekend, where when most of my time goes, because inside the week I only have about 1 or 2 hours every other day to study. So if I read stuff like this, I get like I can read one issue which lasts me about 30 minutes or 20 minutes if it's really like simple, full formula one, and I could get through this thing in about 5 hours. But I do read it sparsely over like a couple of weeks, and I like mix it with Conan, so it's a nice distraction. It's more like a YouTube video, but I think YouTube videos are more insipid because they're more addictive. I do really think that YouTube videos are more addictive. So this is better, makes me avoid things. Also, but also just reading a book is better. I think that reading a book would be better than reading a comic book in general. Actually, no, that's about the same. But this is nice. This is like nicely segmented. Comic books are compared to books. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, it's something, I guess. So if you're low on time, it's not bad, but I don't expect anything crazy good. If I had to give a rating, I've been thinking it was a 6, but maybe I could bump it up to 6.5. Because I did forget that there's some I remember the art style being very soft, but now I've been flicking through. It's like it's actually not too bad. I think it's just mostly off key, relaxed art style for the characters we know and love, which I don't know offended me because they most of the time they look pretty ugly, even when they are not meant to look ugly, I think. And it's more distracting than it is endearing, which is the problem. If it was if they were supposed to look ugly, I wouldn't mind, but yeah. So yeah, this has been a review. I'm gonna trim it down quite a bit, so should be under 10 minutes. Yep. See you in the next one if you wanna if I see you.